Hi, welcome to Creating the Goods. I'm Wendy. Today I'm going to show you a very easy DIY project. I know many of you may be new to your Cricut machine. I remember when I opened up that box and I looked inside and I saw that machine. I'm like, what do I do? Where do I start? I know it can be very intimidating. So today I'm going to show you a step-by-step project using this mug, and we're going to be putting vinyl on here using a very cute design. So without any further ado, let's get started. But first, if you like this tutorial, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell for future videos. So let's get started. Here are the materials I'm using for today's video. I'm using Oracle 651 permanent vinyl in white. I'm going to use the Cricut standard matte. And I'm also going to use this black coffee mug I got at the Dollar Tree. And some transfer tape. I got that off of Amazon. I will list all the materials that I used in today's video in the description box below. This is a little alcohol container. I'll be using that to wipe off grease and debris off the coffee mug, a briar, a scraper, and some weeding tools. I love that fine tip weeding tool. I'll list that down below if you're interested. I'm using my Cricut Maker, but you could use the Air Explorer 2 or the Joy machine. So let's go into Design Space. Okay, here we are in Design Space, and we need to find a design for our coffee mug. I'm a very visual learner, and I always like to have a replica of my project on my canvas before I go ahead and cut anything out. So that way if I need to make any changes, I could do so right here on the canvas. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a coffee mug that looks similar to the one that I have. And I'm going to do that by going over here to the right where you see images. Click on that. I'm going to come up here to where it says search all images, and I'm going to type in cup. Okay. Now you can see there's 4 images going across, and this could take me forever when there's 426 results. So I'm just going to come over here and speed it up. Click on that. Now I have 6 images going across, and that will make my search a lot easier. So I'm just going to come over down to the right and scroll down and see if I can find something that's similar to the coffee cup that I have. Here's a good one. Okay, I'm going to click on that. The A means Cricut Access, so if you are a member and you have Cricut Access, this image would be free. However, I'm not going to be cutting this out. This is just going to be a visual. Okay, so I clicked on that. You'll see that at the bottom. I'm going to click on Insert Image, and that will come up on my canvas. There you are. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now I need to make a couple changes. I don't like this here because I really don't need to have that. So what I'm going to do is click on the image, come down here to the bottom right where it says contour. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see our coffee mug. Okay, there you are. Okay, so I don't need this, this, and this. Okay, I'm going to come up here and click on the X. Okay, so that looks kind of like our coffee mug. Okay, now I am a right-hand drinker, so I really do not want the design on this side. I actually want it on the opposite side. So I'm going to change the position. I'm going to come up to the top where it says flip. Click on that, come down where it says flip horizontal, and there you have it. Our design will now be on the side that I want it on. Okay, now we need to go ahead and search for our design. So I'm going to go over to the right again and click on Images. Okay, I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to remove the word cup. Okay, and I already have an idea in mind, so I'm going to type in the word Halloween witches. Okay, and click on search. Okay, as you can see, there's 4,637. There's quite a few witches. Okay, but I really have a good idea. I'm going to scroll down. It's sort of towards the bottom. So let's see if I can find it quickly. Here we are. It's right here. Witch's Brew. It's also Cricut Access, so if you are a member, you will be able to use this design. It will come down to the bottom. Click on Insert. Okay, there's our design. As you can see, it's black on black, and that will not work. We're going to be using a white vinyl today. Now, just for visual purposes, it really doesn't mean much when you change the colors here in Design Space, because you could use any color you want. It's just a visual, so that way you have a really good idea of what your end result will be. So I'm just going to come up here to Line Tight where it says Cut. Come over to the right. It has the black square. I'm going to come down and change it to white. So another thing is we need to resize our design. Okay, I'm just going to come down and click on the unlock, and it looks nice, but I want to move it down a little bit. Normally I don't like when letters are stretched out, but because it's Halloween, I kind of like that idea. I like it a little bit more, I think. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Maybe a little more. Okay, that's looking really nice. I'm going to come over and lock the lock. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now we need to size our coffee mug, because this isn't the actual size of our coffee mug, and I want my design to fit nicely on our coffee mug. So in order to do that, I'm going to group both the layers. I could come up here and click on Group, or I could right click it and click Group. Okay, so there you have it. Now I measured my coffee mug, and mine is about 4 inches wide, and the height is 4 3/4. So I'm going to come up to where it says size, click on the lock, so we unlock it, come over to the width, and I'm going to highlight this number here and replace it with 4.0. Come over to the height, highlight that, and I'm going to put height was 4.75. I'm going to change that to a decimal, 4.75. Then I'm going to close the little padlock. Okay, so there you have it. So there is our coffee mug. This is what our design will look like when it is finished. So if you want to make the design a little bit bigger or longer, you can do that here, so that way you have a good idea of the end result. Okay, so the next step is we are going to come over and click on Make It. Okay, as you can see, this will come out nicely, but there's one more thing that we need to do. I do not want to cut out the coffee mug, so I'm going to come down here to the right, click on Cancel. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come over to the Layers panel, and it'll say Hot Cocoa Silhouette. That's what our coffee mug is. It's a cocoa mug. I'm going to click on the little eye over here to turn it off. Okay, so now I just have my design. I'm going to come back up to Make It. And there's our design on our mat. Okay, our design is about 3 inches by 3 inches. It's on a white mat because our vinyl is white. I'm using a green standard mat, 12 inches by 12 inches. I do not need to put the mirror button on. This is not HTV, which means heat transfer vinyl. Cricut uses the word iron on, so let's continue and hit that continue button. Okay, it is connecting to my machine, the maker. It now wants me to pick a material, And I know the premium vinyl works well with my Oracle 651 permanent vinyl. And to find the premium vinyl setting, I already have it as one of my favorites. But if you don't, go to Browse All Materials. If you are using the Explorer series machines, turn your smart dial to Custom and the page should show up. Click on All Categories, scroll down to Vinyl, select Premium Vinyl, and then go to the bottom right and click on Done. Okay, you can see the base material is showing premium vinyl. I'm going to change the default to more pressure. My blade is getting a little dull, and I know this because I always do a test cut. Please make sure this becomes a habit as well. You don't want to ruin a whole piece of vinyl because your blade had too much pressure or not enough pressure. You can do this by performing a very small task, by cutting out a small shape like a circle. It will not only save you time, but also can save you a lot of money. And I'm using the fine point blade, so let's get our mat ready for cutting. Okay, you can remember our design was a 3 inches by 3 inches, so I just cut out a piece of vinyl a little bit bigger than the design. So this way it had enough room to cut out properly. When you place your vinyl, make sure the backing is down on the mat and the vinyl side is up. I'm using my briar to remove any air bubbles and to make sure it adheres to the mat. Okay, I'm going to load my mat. Another good habit to get into is always check your blade for any debris or old vinyl. You don't want anything to cause it not to cut out properly. Okay, so I will wait for the arrow on the right hand side to start flashing. Once that happens, I will click on that. Then the C button, which is directly right next to it, I will click on that when it starts to flash. Now it will begin to cut. When it's done cutting, the arrow button will begin to flash. I will click on that and release my mat. Okay, let's begin weeding out our design, and weeding means removing all the negative vinyl you don't need or want. And I like to weed on my mat. It's like having a third hand to help with the process. I'm using my scraper to make sure that my vinyl won't move around when I'm weeding. Another thing I like to do is put my vinyl to one side with the design closer to me and the stickier part of the mat with no vinyl furthest from me. So this way I don't have to touch the sticky part of the mat. I'm using my weeding tool to lift up one corner of the negative vinyl and start to remove on an angle. So this way it helps to remove the negative vinyl from its backing sheet. And I also like to check the negative piece of vinyl to make sure that everything that has been removed that is supposed to be removed is removed. Okay, we still need to remove some of the negative vinyl from our letters, and I'm using this nice weeding tool. It has a nice fine point blade, which makes it very easy to remove all the negative vinyl from the letters. If you're interested, I will leave a link below to where you could get one for yourself. Okay, and there you have it, Witch's Brew. Okay, let's get our design ready for our coffee mug. I'm using this transfer tape that I purchased off of Amazon. It is fantastic. I will leave a link in the description box below if you are interested. I already went ahead and cut out a piece the size of our design. Next, I'm going to use my scraping tool and burnish it really well, so when I remove the backing from the vinyl, my design will be well adhered to the transfer tape. Okay, I'm going to put our design off to the side while I get our coffee mug and get that ready. I am right-handed and I want to have my design on the outside, so I'm going to be placing it there. I'm just using my briar to place underneath the handle of my coffee mug just to prop it up to make it easier for when I place my vinyl. It just keeps it stable. Next, it's important to remove any dirt or oils that happen to be on our coffee mug, and I'm just going to use a little bit of alcohol and some cotton swab. That little bottle that you see, I got that at the Dollar Tree. It was actually for nail polish remover, but as you see, it works beautiful for this type of projects. So I'm just removing the dirt and oil. Now comes the fun part. We are going to put our design on our coffee mug. I'm just going to remove the backing from our vinyl, and this is going to be so easy because I just love that transfer tape. Am I right? Look how easy that comes right off. Fantastic. Okay, next I'm going to place the design on the coffee mug, and I'm going to put the center down first. And I'm going to smooth it out from the middle to the end from one side, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, I'm just going to get my scraper, and I'm just going to make sure that I adhere the vinyl well to my mug. Okay, I'm going to come down on an angle and lightly pull until my transfer tape is completely off and my design is well adhered to my coffee mug. Voila! It looks great. Okay, there's nothing really more we need to do with this coffee mug. It is recommended to hand wash only. However, if you would like to seal it, you could use a Mod Podge. They make a dishwasher safe one. I never had any problems placing these in the dishwasher. If the design does come off, what's the big deal? You'll just have fun redoing it again. I think it turned out great. Witch's Brew. This is such an easy DIY project to start with if you are brand new to your Cricut machine. So get it out of the box. Get crafting. This is so much fun, and you will have years and years of fun doing all kinds of projects. So if you liked today's tutorial, give me a thumbs up, ring that bell for future videos, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.